Hello children, we will do the chapter or a story from your 9 Hacks book, and the name of the story is Bhaktaprasad's Adventures. The story is written by Kanak Manindakshit, and it is a story about a young frog and his adventures. I will tell you something, that is after following the video, you will read the chapter and then you will see at the end of each page of the chapter some meanings are given. You will learn those meanings also. But first of all, what you will do is you will watch the video carefully, then you will read the chapter on your own. So let us know what was the story about. So Bhaktaprasad, who is called a Bhai in Nepali language, is a young frog, and he lived in Kathmandu in a rice field or in a paddy field in Kathmandu, Nepal. And he lived with his grandfather Bhaktaprasad and his mother Sanomaya and his brothers and sisters. So Bhaktaprasad was a young frog, and he was still in his tadpole stage, that is, he has not yet become a full-grown frog. He was very young and he used to live in the fertile green valleys of Kathmandu in Nepal, and he lived with his grandfather Bhaktaprasad and his mother Sanomaya, along with his frog brothers and sisters. And his home, where did he actually live? His home was in a rice terrace by the village of Ichango, behind the great stupa of Swayambhunath. So where he lived in a rice field, and it was in the village of Ichango, and behind the great stupa. What is a stupa? You will see the meaning given at the end of the page. A dome-like structure built over the remains of Buddhist monks. So it was the home of Bhaktaprasad was behind the stupa of Swayambhunath, and there he lived with his brothers and sisters, his mother and his grandfather. Now Bhaktaprasad was a different frog. Why? He was very curious. That means he was always eager to know more. Means he was always eager to know why it was happening, where the people are going, what they do. All these questions he used to have in his mind, and he wanted to find out the answers to this question. And he was more curious than other frogs of his age. He was the quickest to learn how to hop among his brood, and had recently taken to leaving the paddy fields and going along the path used by humans to go downhill. And what did Bhaktaprasad used to do? He was very quick in learning how to hop. And when he learned how to hop, what he did, he used to go downhill. He had seen the humans go downhill. They used to live in a valley, and he had seen the humans going down the valley. And he always wanted to know. He was very curious. He was eager to know what was happening. So he would go there and follow that path and go downhill to see where the human beings go, what they do. He had these questions in his mind. He saw men, women and children walk back and forth on that trail. He had seen what he had seen. He had seen that men, women, children, that is the human beings, they go up and down that path, that trail. But the frogs, they don't go anywhere. But human beings, he had seen them going somewhere and then coming back from somewhere, but he had not seen his frogs, members of his family, going anywhere. And so he was very curious. He was very eager to know what was happening, where do they go, and he wanted to find those answers. And how do what he had seen? He had seen that the frogs, they don't go anywhere. What they do? They stay around the water in wait for insects, because they feed on the insects, and always when they are looking for food or looking for insects, they also have to keep a watch on the garden snakes, because he had the garden snake was the enemy of the frogs or the amphibians, and so the garden snakes, they love to eat the frogs. So the frogs have to always keep a watch that the garden snakes do not come and attack them. And so that was the way the frogs spend their lives. They lie around the water, they look for the insects to eat, keep a watch on the garden snakes, and they went on croaking till their throats become dry. That was how Bhaktaprasad had seen the frogs too. But the humans were different, because he had seen them going somewhere and coming back from somewhere. And he had in his mind that they have an intention, means they have something to do. Then one day Bhaktaprasad decided, after observing the people going somewhere and coming back from a place, he decided that he would also have an intention in his life. That is, he would also have some goal, some aim in his life. And that made him different from other frogs. Why he was different? Because he was not like the other frogs who used to love lying around the water, eat the insects that are buzzing around, or playing with the other frogs. He used to know, he had observed the human beings going somewhere, and he also thought that like them he would also have an intention, and so he waited for his tail to drop off. But he was very young, no one would allow him to go anywhere, so he was waiting for the day when his tail would fall off, would drop off, and he will become a complete or an adult frog. And that day he would tell everyone that what he wants to do in his life. And so till that time, what he did, he used to hung around the chautara. What was the chautara? The chautara was a rest place. The people used to take rest while going downhill or coming uphill. Means when they were going down the hill or when they were coming up, they used to take rest on the chautara. And when this used to take rest at this place, what they did, they used to exchange gossips, they used to talk among themselves. And Bhaktaprasad, what he did, he used to sit over there. Because he was a frog and he was young, no one can see him, and he used to listen to the conversations of the human beings. From these conversations, he had come to know many things. He had come to know about the city, he had come to know about the things that people see in the city, and he had made an idea of what the world was outside the paddy field, because none of his frog members or from anyone from his frog family has ever gone outside the paddy field. So they cannot tell him what was there outside. Human beings go, he had seen, and from the conversations of the human beings, he had formed an idea about it, about the world that lay outside the paddy field, how it looked. He had formed an idea about the city, the huge buildings that the cities have, the vehicles, the people, so many people are there. All these things he had come to know from the conversations he had heard at the chautara. And he used to look downhill. From there he could see the Kathmandu town, and he had seen those buildings and everything. And from that time onwards, he had in his mind that one day Bhaktaprasad would go outside the paddy field and see all these places which he had only heard of. And so what he did, the evening when his last bit of his tail disappeared, Bhaktaprasad shocked everyone. So when his tail, the last bit of his tail which was there, it disappeared and he became a grown-up frog, he shocked everyone. Why he shocked everyone? Because he announced his decision to go outside the paddy field. And when he told his decision to his members, to the frog clan, they were shocked. Why? Because no one could think of going outside the paddy field. Because they were frogs, the paddy field was very safe for them. Why? Because they knew everything about it. They knew that place very well. They knew when the garden snakes would come, what would happen. So they felt safe within that paddy field. And when Bhaktaprasad said that he wants to go outside the paddy field, they were very shocked and they could not think of such a thing. And then Bhaktaprasad said that he wants to experience life beyond the field. He wants to see the city. He wants to go to the place where the people live and also see the places like Tarai. He wants to see the horizon, the big rivers, all these things he had heard about at the chautara. And Bhaktaprasad was very eager to know about these places. So today what we have done, we have done up to the 3rd page, and you will do what? You will read what we have done today carefully and learn the meanings given at the end of the page. Along with this video, you will get the PDF of question answers. You will write down those question answers in your copy. Okay? But you should first read the chapter up to the portion we have done today. In the next video, we will do the second portion of the